Okay, so welcome to the coffee chat. As I mentioned in a previous coffee chat, that we were going to slowly start pivoting the forum we have on a Friday morning to more of providing support to small businesses, and we will start inviting small businesses to come and present their problems, and for us as a group then to try and solve the problem while you're on the call. So we're starting this week with a young lady who really knows her stuff around branding. And I'll introduce her shortly. Yes, Courtney, I am recording. Okay, so the agenda today is we're going to talk about why branding is so important. We'll do the usual questions and answers. And then the young lady has graciously put together some takeaways. So it's not going to be me doing the takeaways this week. And then we'll wrap up. So today's chat is all about why branding, and I'm not going to give too much detail away about branding itself. I'll let the lady tell you all about that. But why is it so important? And I'm going to introduce Dana Ohana. Now, Dana, yeah, is an interesting lady, very interesting, very dynamic. And she's an Israeli. Somebody else wants to come in. Let me just let them in quickly. She's an Israeli who relocated to South Africa. And if you had to ask her why would somebody move, and she would say, no, never, not. But she came across here as a marketing manager, and she said it was an amazing experience. But during this time, she had some tragedy in her life, and her mother got sick. And she was flitting backwards between South Africa and Israel all the time. And then, unfortunately, her mom passed away. So she decided to stay in South Africa, and she founded a company called Big Consulting, and felt it like it was her time to share knowledge and experience and empower female entrepreneurs. So Dana's got over 10 years experience in marketing and public relations, both here in South Africa and abroad. And her belief is that we actually are all a brand, and we're all very unique, and we all have a short story to share. And that story is what got us to where we are now, which is an interesting perspective on things. So what she does, she helps her clients, and she creates her own personal brand by telling their story. And then she teaches her clients how to build a strong brand by using social media and other marketing tools the right way, and using those tools to build their own community and building relationships by solving the problem, and not by selling a product or a service, which is something that we've all been brainwashed to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to hand over to Dana and let her tell you her whole story. So over to you, Dana.
So hi, everyone. I think I'm going to hire you to do my introduction every time. You told my first nice. Can we actually, I don't need the presentation. So maybe we can go to the stop sharing so I can see people. Can I maybe ask for both? So yeah, so if you guys want to open your camera, that would be nice. An easy way to do it like this. So first I want to say thank you for this opportunity. So have you heard, like, part of my story is that, you know, life is a journey. And if you look at what branding is all about, a lot of time we think that branding is something that belongs to the big companies, to the corporates, right? But it's not. Branding belongs to each and every one of us. And it doesn't matter if you are a business owner, entrepreneurs, or you even have like a job. We are a brand, and we all have something around it. And a brand is not just, you know, it's no longer what we tell other people branding is all about. It's actually what people perception is about what we tell them. So for example, now you shared my story, Richard, but everyone can interpret the story and have different takeaways about this. So I'm a big believer that you have a story. Life is a journey. There's a reason why you got to where you are. That was part of your path. If you're going to learn to listen to the story and learn how to share it, but share it the right way, and also share it with the right people, share it with the right target market that you have. By doing that, you're not only, you know, gonna, on the one personal side, gonna heal yourself, But on the other side, you will be motivating others, you will be inspiring others. Because as you heard part of my story, you know, I never thought I'll come to South Africa. Never ever that I actually imagined. It wasn't even in my bucket list. I knew that I want to come visit Cape Town, but not moving in. And life just moved me in a certain direction, and I just went along with this. And I learned that if I'm sharing my story, I don't need to share it and like make people necessarily cry or feel sad or feel sorry, but I need to share it in a way that people can listen and say, okay, if that person could have done it, maybe I can do it as well. You know, everyone will have a different takeaways. In every one of us, it will touch on a different point. So that is the one part of the branding side, is to, you all have a story. You all are brands. You all have something unique in you. And that links to the second part, is that, you know, people buy from people. And there's a reason why I said that, you know, we're not selling a product or a service. We're solving a problem. And I know we get so used to the fact that like we need to sell, we need to push. And in the past, it was the door to door that people were coming and knocking on your door and offering you the product. Today, it's not like this. If you look at this, like for example, it's happening a lot on LinkedIn. For those of you who are on LinkedIn, that someone asks you like want to connect with you, and automatically they send you a message that they're trying to sell you something. Really, how many of you are really actually engaging with that person? Like if you do it, raise your hands now. If not, I'll take it. It's like no. But like we all know, we all look at us like, really, really? Why will I take your service? Seriously? And we all have our different reactions because it's in our face. But if that person will say like, hi, by the way, my name here, I'm like from here, where are you from? Like having started to have a conversation. And after like a week or two of like building some connection, he will come and offer him for the service of this. My point of view will look, and it will be a different thing because he built that relationship. He made me feel that like, you know, we are really connecting. And that's a lot of time. You have your own story. If you're going to start sharing it, just putting yourself out there, you know, presenting the brand that you want to be, get that story that you want to help, that you want people to actually interpret it in the way that you want them to. If you do this, you're going to start to build your own community. By building your own community, you're actually going to start building relationships. And I think if you look at what happened with COVID, is that people are really more and more understanding now that they want to be part of something. There's a reason why all of you are here now in this networking thing. There's a reason why people more and more going to different events or like following a certain person. You want to feel part of something. You want to feel belong. You want to feel that this is your safe place, that this is a place that you can come and ask questions. And if someone will provide you this, you're going to start trusting him because you started to build that relationship with him. So when I'm looking at a community, it's on both sides. We want to be part of a community because ourselves as well want certain support in certain topics and want to be part of something. But also we are building our own community. So it's a community inside of a community. And by doing that, we're building the relationship. By building relationship, we're basically building trust. By building trust, it's allowing us to actually engage and start bringing our service out there, our products out there. And that's very important because people don't like it anymore when you push it in their face. When your message is very like out there, very outspoken, they want to know you, and authenticity is very important because, you know, as I said, people buy from people. If you don't know yourself, if you don't know who you are as a brand, how can you expect your clients to know that? How can you expect your potential clients to also know that, and basically that you will be able to convert them? So this is the one big part of brand building. That's how I really believe in it, on sharing a story, building your own community, building those relationships, gaining their trust. And by that, it will be easier for you to convert them from potential clients to clients. But on the other side, we need to remember that it's also very important to know who you're targeting. Define the right way your target market, because that's part of your brand. That's how you will actually going to build a strong brand. If you're going to do the system that I call like the spaghetti on the wall, you throw the spaghetti on the wall, what sticks, sticks, what falls, falls. You're not going to be able to build a strong brand, a brand that will stay here. But if you're going to build it the right way, slowly, and knowing what you're doing, connecting to yourself, connecting to your followers. If you're going to do this and build a relationship, then you will be surprised how they can come to you in different times. And in a way, I always say, like, for people who come from sales in the big companies, they use the term of a pipeline, right? That you build a pipeline. By actually building relationships and having your own community, you kind of creating your own virtual pipeline, but it's a surprise pipeline, because sometimes you don't know who's going to come to you. And I had recently so many, for example, ladies that came to me, listen, I've been stalking you for a while. And like, now I had the courage to come to you and ask, or like, now I actually need your service. But that's the thing, because you are building something, they're going to come to you, maybe not now. And I think that's our problem, that we always expect, results to come and happen now as a magic. What do you mean? I want it now. I don't want it now, or just now. I want it now. Which, that's, by the way, something that took me a while to learn the now, because the first time I heard it, I was sure that it's like immediately. Then I learned that they're telling me you can dream on, but I got it. And then I learned to appreciate it. But yes, we are expecting this. But if you want to build a strong brand, because seriously, like, if you look at the big companies, there's a reason why they're still here. Branding is an ongoing thing. It's not like a project of a week, of a month, of 5 years. It's not. It's an ongoing thing. And if you're going to reach out to the right people, they're going to help you build this brand. If you're going to build their trust with them, they're going to be not only like a loyal customer, they're also going to be your best brand ambassadors. Okay. And that's something you need to bear in mind. And you also need to remember that if you're not reaching out to the right people, you can destroy your brand in a second. And it's always easy to explain it, to give an example how you can destroy your brand cycle by looking at the celebrities, right? I always give the example of Michael Jackson. He built his brand for so many years. He was so strong. It was a legend. One small thing he did or didn't do, and it doesn't matter even, because he destroyed his brand. For a bigger crowd, he's no longer what he used to be. And that's the thing. Like, one small thing that you do can destroy your brand. And that's why you always need to bear in mind who you are, what you're doing, be true to yourself, put it out there, build those relationships, and always work on building your brand. It's in everything you do. It's the way you dress, it's the way you speak, it's the way you engage online. It's in every little thing you do. It's the type of service you provide. Everything. And it's like, if I'm going to tell you, and I'm a lawyer now, and I'll come to the office with my hair like this, with my leggings, and I'm actually looking like I'm ready to clean your house now, would you trust me? Would you actually allow me to be your lawyer? You're going to look at me and say, like, sure, you need to find another job. You're not in the right industry. You're not even going to trust me to listen. And that's part of it. We don't think about it, but there's a reason why I said first impression is important. You can always try to fix it, but it's not that easy to fix it. And opportunities are there all the time, but it's up to us, to open our eyes and grab them. And you need to, as well, like in everything you do, even the opportunities you grab needs to be aligned with your brand. So I just want you, like, if I look at some of the takeaways that I want you to take and bear in mind all the time, is that you first need to know yourself and listen to your story. Connect to that story and share it. Share it when you're ready to share it. Share it in the way that it's going to help you to grow, going to help you to heal yourself, but not going to take you backwards, okay? I didn't share my story about my mom from the beginning. It took me a year and some in my business to be okay by sharing it, to accepting that that's what happened to me. That's what opened my eyes. That's why I've decided it's my time now to share. I don't want to move from one company to another, share my knowledge about branding and build someone else's brand. I want to build my brand, and I want to help others to build their brand. I want others to have that knowledge that I have. And that's part of my story, but I couldn't share it before. And I can say that the moment that I actually was ready and I started sharing my story and I rebranded myself, my business went in a different direction. And I've done it with some of my clients, and I can see the same thing over and over again. When you connect to yourself, share your story, automatically you're going to start building your own community. Automatically you start building relationships. People will resonate with you. And they don't need to resonate with everything you do. They can, resonate with one thing here, one thing there, and that's how you build it. That's how you gain their trust. That's how they become loyal to you. That's how, and that's what you want. If you're going to do all of this, things will come to you because you build it so strongly that others will do the job for you. And that's the nice thing. So it's not how many hours a day you work. It's working smartly, bringing the right people to you, engage with them. So yes, the problem with this, it's not going to give you a magic solution. You're not going to get your business from zero to, I don't know, like a 100,000 rand in a day. But yes, if you're going to build it the right way, it's going to come. And people buy from people. So always bear it in mind, and always bear in mind, what's the brand I want to be? What is the perception that others will have on me? So think about it all the time, bear it in mind. And I can speak for hours about this, and I have so much to say about this, but I think I want to prefer to open it more for you guys to ask questions and share with me some takeaways from it, and like, if that's okay.
Yeah, thanks, Dana. I think I've got the first question.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, when I was studying, one of the modules that I had to take was emotional intelligence. And you made a point there about being self-aware in order to actually establish your brand. But being self-aware means you need to understand how you impact people, the impact that you have on others, what your leadership style is like, how you would overpower people in conversations and things like that. It's just that self-awareness is a very broad statement. So what are the most important things you need to focus on to establish your brand?
So I always recommend, and if everyone wants, I can share it after a link to a SWOT analysis template. I always recommend to do a SWOT analysis, which is know your strengths and your weaknesses. This is the top one. And of course, the opportunities around you and what's your threats. But the main thing is to know your weaknesses, which are, you can also call it challenges, and your key strengths. Because a lot of the time, and that's part of what's going to help you also to define your message, okay, as a brand. Because part of your message is going to be your brand promise, okay? Something that you're promising that no matter what, this is what you're going to deliver with your products, right? And or your service. But if you don't know yourself, and it's always easy to give it the example, if I'm going to promise you now that I'll reply in the upcoming hour, every time, like you send a message in an hour, you're getting a response. But I'm a procrastinator. Sure. Good luck to me, right? Good luck how I'm building my brain. The fact like that I always have gonna have something around me, and I'm like, oh, but I want to do this now. Oh, I don't have far. I'll give myself an excuse. Then I won't respond in an hour, and by that I'm gonna destroy my brain because I've committed to something which I'm not able to deliver. And that's why it's very important. So know what's your weak point. What you're not good at. If you know what you're not good at, you know how you can start finding ways to overcome it. Today, there's so many applications, so many apps that you can actually use that can help you manage the time. If you know that you are not gonna, that you have distractions all the time and you're super busy and you're losing time. So you can even, like for social media, you can, schedule the post. So you can use different things to overcome, but you need to know what you're not good at. You also need to know what you're very good at, because by you knowing that, you can, highlight that, you can put it more out there. And that's the thing, like, where no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect, but I'm taking my key strengths, and those are the things that I'm pushing and I'm promoting and I'm using as part of my brand. But I also share, if someone reads for example, my post on Instagram, I also share some of my stories, how I overcome certain stuff. I was the kind of person that I was very shy with a camera, and then I knew that this is what I need to do, and I need to push myself outside of my comfort zone. But I knew it was my weakness, and now it became my strength. Now I'm doing so many podcasts, so many videos. I've got my own YouTube channel. If you're gonna watch my first video, I'm sitting like this on the couch. I literally cannot even watch the video. I feel like, oh my God, what the hell have I thought to myself? But it is, and that's how you can actually change it. And that's why it's very important to know yourself. That's your foundation to your branding. Because if you don't know yourself, how can you be authentic, right? If you don't know yourself, how can you expect others to know what you want from them? If your mind, and it's in everything, like, you know, a lot of time, even with our message, we are so sure that what we're saying is clear for everyone, but it's not even clear in our head a lot of the time. And we don't even know how to bring it out there. And that's why it's very important. If you know yourself, if your mind is very focused and clear, and there's not a lot of background noises, you can actually bring it out there. And that's what people are searching for. Because if you're going to be not clear with yourself, you're going to be all over the place. You're going to be, it's going to look like it's a scam. It doesn't going to look good. And it's not going to make your brand to look very professional. And people would not want to work with you.
Wow. Okay. Anybody else?
I hope I
Anybody
answered the
else have any
question.
questions? No, you did. Thank you.
Hi,
Anybody
Dana.
else?
Hi, Dana.
Yes, I had you.
What? How did you overcome that shyness? I also struggle with camera shyness. How did you transform your brand to being, you just punch your services behind the camera, to being your face is your brand? How did you overcome that?
So that's a good one. I think for me, one of the things that it's started me being more out there is, one of the things was my move here to South Africa. That's like, you know, it's just me by myself. And if I'm not going to do stuff, no one will do it for me. So that was one thing. But I know that when I've decided to get my business up and running, and after a few months, I realized, you know, I need to build trust. And then I came across about like live events and say, okay, I know I need to do it. I don't have the courage to do it. What I've done, I've reached out to a lady that I met in a networking event, and I've tried my luck. And I asked her, do you want to do something with me? Because I said, if I'll do it with someone else, maybe I'll get, you know, it will give me the courage to do it. And that lady looked at me, like, you can hear on the phone, she was like, And then in the end, she gave me a chance. She said, okay, let's meet at Canal Walk. Yep. Even in Canal Walk, she looks so suspicious. It's so funny. And in the end, she's like, after like almost 2 hours, you know what? I'll give it a try. Let's try for 1 month. We both couldn't sleep the night before. My stomach was sore. It was a good diet, I must admit. And we both met in Lagoon Beach. And we did the first time as a live. And we enjoyed it so much that we started doing it more and more and more. And now we're doing it for a bit more than a year now. And during that time, I said to myself, you know what? You also need to do it. You know, I need to be in front of the camera. That's what I want to. Especially, I'm always making jokes. I'm still, you know, Jewish and Israeli. So when I've been told that you can get a passive income from YouTube, I was on it. Yeah. I'm gonna get it. And it took me 2 weeks. I literally put a few times, and I'm not putting makeup, but like I put like my lipstick, and it took me 2 weeks that I was back and forth from the camera until I actually sat down. And I told you, if you watch my video, I'm like this. And every time I push myself, and I'm not a procrastinator, but in this, I was procrastinating all the time because I felt uncomfortable. And then I started just doing it, just push myself and say, okay, it's not that others are doing it necessarily better than me. What do they got to offer that I'm not? If people are going to connect to this, yes, not. And I kept on pushing myself, and I got better from one video to another. And also, I had the option to do those pictures in the curtain box that I have that I actually wanted, which is the first time I ever won anything. So I was super surprised. Yeah. And I felt like my mom giving me a gift to push myself. And then it took me 2 weeks to sit with myself and to decide, you know what? That's part of you healing yourself. You're going to learn. If you're going to love yourself, it's going to impact others. And I'm going to put myself out there. And that's what I've done. So it's for me, it's a lot of like work with myself and chatting to myself, and also remind yourself, who said that others are doing it better? Everyone will connect to someone else. Some of you can listen to me and she said, sure, she's boring. Oh, she's talking too much. And some said, oh, wow, I really like it. I can resonate. And it's fine. And that's what took me a while to learn, that that's okay. And that's also important to understand in branding, that you cannot be everything to everyone. You do want to niche yourself. And that's why I was talking about the target market. Niche yourself, And just try it. And if you want, I'll do with you the first live. Apparently I've done with so many people their first live. I'll do with you, and you can see you're gonna feel amazing after. You're gonna see, because when you've got someone else with you, you're not talking to yourself. You're talking to someone else. And by the way, and when I had a live that I've done by myself by mistake, because the other girl somehow disappeared while we were talking, and it's on a topic that I have no clue. So I was like, okay, that's my challenge. And I realized at that time that when I need to do live by myself, if I speak fast now, I was more like, just because I felt like so embarrassed. And then in time, I learned to slow the pace down. And that's the challenge. So don't expect the first one to be amazing or perfect, but just do it. And from 1 to 1, I'm doing it now for more than a year. And I have got better. At least I hope so.
No, definitely.
So give it a try, and I'll be the one to do with you if you want. I'll do the first one with you.
Awesome. Thanks, Dana.
Thanks, Donna. I've got a question here on the chat. How do you actually go about helping your clients? And do you follow a set process or a methodology?
How do you actually go about helping your clients? What do you mean by that? How do I help them? What do I do to help them?
Yes. What's the starting point? I mean, do you follow some sort of methodology?
So I actually have a certain one, but I also really adjusting it to the different clients, because everyone comes from a different place. For example, one of my clients now, we started from getting clear of what she wants to do with her business, because it wasn't very clear for her. And now we're at the stage that we are choosing the name, but I am following different steps on building a brand. And it's dependent on where you are in your business. And I always prefer to listen and understand, where you are, what your struggle is. And from that, I know, okay, do we need to work on your target market? Do we need to work on your message? Maybe we just need to learn to share the story. It's come from different ways. So with everyone, I work in a different way, but I have my own certain tools that I use to help you in that process. Because we all, everyone in a different stage with a business. And a lot of the time, people sometimes start from the end and they don't get why things are not working. So I take them to the start, and then we're building it the right way. Because it's important for me for people to understand, one of the first thing that I always do with my clients always is to make sure that they're defining their target market the right way. Because a lot of time we think we know, but we actually don't really know much about them. And we are giving something very broad and not very not niching it. And you don't really know them. And I always say, how can you get from point A to point B if you don't know what's point B? If you know who you're targeting, you know where to find them, when to find them, how to engage with them, what's the message. So I work with my clients on the foundations to make sure that no matter what, they're solid. And from there, we can do the rest. From there, I'll teach you the tricks that I use from all the different marketing tools that you have. And I mainly teach my clients organic marketing and not paid marketing. I'm a less believer in the paid one. I've tried it when I started my business because I wanted to be able to tell you like, okay, is it working or not? And I can say that not only me, like I really grew my business just by working organically. So this is kind of, hope I answered.
Okay, I've got a follow-up question. Most people, they go through school, they go to university or some sort of education, and you're taught to put up this wall or a facade. You dress, like you mentioned that lawyer example, you dress in a certain way to portray a certain image. And it does take a long time to build a relationship, especially if you say you're a salesman, you walk into a client's offer and you do an elevated pitch. And you're pitching the company's pitch, but you're not pitching yourself. How do you tear that down, especially now for small businesses? You can't do this corporate style of selling. You actually have to sell yourself. So how do you tear down that facade?
It's funny because it took me even a while, because when I started with my business, I did the corporate part, what I was used to. But if you just understand that, we all people, we all parents, we buy from each other. We want to support each other. We are buying from people that we feel connected with. You know, we listen if a friend will tell us, go work with this person because I know you'll trust that person. So it's just to keep in mind all the time that, you know, even corporates working on building relationships. Okay. So always bear it in mind. You know, I think a problem is that we've been brought up, because I'm also looking at when I've studied, because when I, for example, have done some of my degrees, you know, a lot of stuff were not even here, right? Like Facebook was just starting, Instagram was not there. Like there's a lot of stuff that I learned, but there's a lot of things that they teach you in your degrees that it's very theoretical. And a lot of the time we're really trying to copy paste the big companies, but we're copy pasting them on the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, just, you know, keep reminding yourself, people buy from people. How can I reach out to them? What's the right way for me, not for someone else? And it doesn't matter. Each and every one of us can do the same thing now. We can all do marketing now, but we all have our different ways to do it. And just be true to yourself. And if you look at the corporates, copy from them the planning side. That's what you need to copy. How to plan right, how to build a strong foundation. Don't copy from the other stuff. So I will overcome it by just, you know, be you, just reminding to yourself that, you know, how you buy stuff, what's getting you to buy from one person and not from another. Because once you're going to get that, it's going to help you to drop your guards down and, you know, just open. And don't be afraid to try different things. And, you know, I had a meeting with a client of mine and she said, I was buying online, like different online courses and marketing, and everyone trying to sell you a formula. I was like, there is no winning formula for nothing. And like, seriously, there's not a winning formula in nothing in life. You just need to be you and do what's right for you, what's working for you. And what's working for you not necessarily going to work for me. So just learn to listen to yourself, connect to your intuition, and trust it and follow it. And if you feel that you're doing something that you were trying to take from college or from someone else, and you gave it a try, but it wasn't working, that's okay. Don't see it as a failure on the negative side. See it as like a failure from the side that I fell forward. I gave it a try, it's not working. Now next. What else can I do? I know that this is not working. And then you try. And the nice thing in today is that you've got like YouTube, you've got Google, you've got so much information out there. That's why I'm a big believer in sharing, because everything I'm telling you now, you can find online. I'm not inventing anything, you know, you can find everything online. But you listen and then you see what's working, what's not. You're trialing. That's the beauty in life. That's part of the journey.
Cool. I've got two more questions. The first one here is from Jock, and he's saying, how do you price your services? Is it a set fee or a monthly retainer?
So I do per meeting, and it's depend on the client. If he wants more than a few sessions, then I'll give a retainer. So I do consultation and I guide you and work with you step by step. So that's how I do it. I don't like when people force you to commit to anything. So I always say, like, even come for one meeting, and after that you decide that you need more support, so we can, you know, make it and adjust it to a retainer. But I'm never going to force. I don't like it, because I want you to come and see if you feel a connection, if you feel it's working for you, if you feel you can get. And with some clients, one meeting is enough, some needs more. So that's how I do it. I'm not like, yeah,
Okay.
no one needs to commit to anything.
And I've got a second question here from Simona. And she's asking, how has consumer trust and the move towards sustainability, both economically and socially, impacted the way that you're directing your clients in terms of branding?
Say it again, sorry.
How has consumer trust and the move towards sustainability, both economically and socially, impacted the way you are directing your clients in terms of branding?
I think in general, in everything, you know, you need to be able to listen. And that's a very important thing. If you like, you know, in building your brand, you need to listen to your clients and everyone's got different approaches on those matters. And your target as well is changing, and in everything, in their behavior with today, like for example, thanks to COVID, like, and some can say not a good thing, some can say it is, like the move to the online, the sustainability part. And it's all about learning to listen to them and see where is it coming from, okay? From which pain points they're coming. And that can help you take your brand in the direction that can actually suit together.
Okay.
I hope I kind of helped, but if not, you're more than welcome to ask me more after.
Sure. Anybody else got any other questions?
Just feel free. I'm more than happy to. And if someone doesn't feel comfortable to ask here, you're more than welcome to send me a private message, by the way.
Okay, here's another question from Jacques. He asks, do you use digital marketing? And if so, how do you go about it? Squeeze pages, email lists and sequences, sales funnel, value ladder, or paid ads, Facebook or LinkedIn? And then the second part of his question is, what else do you use apart from building relationships through your brand? I suppose on social media platforms.
So I do use digital marketing, and I think that this is one of the most important tools today for us to use to build relationships, to connect and the community. I do recommend, and that's the thing, like that's why I always say, learn about your target market, because a lot of time we have, like now there became a trend about Instagram, and so many people want to be in Instagram. But I always try to teach, is that the right place for you? Is that where your target market is? So I do recommend to use digital marketing, but to choose the right platform for your business. Email list is not part of digital marketing, but it is something that thanks to digital marketing, you can grow your list and you can, make it bigger and then use it to communicate, to engage. There's a lot of different tools, but what was it? What else do you do for it? So one of the things I always teach is to build a marketing and strategy plan, okay? And in that, one of the things you do, you set up a goal. To the goal, you set up an objective. And from there, you come with the marketing tactics, okay? The different activities that you can do to help you achieve it. And there's so many activities, and it's really depend on the business because, for example, one of my clients, she's doing more of a B2B. So I'll teach her, because of my experience as well in B2B, the different tactics that she can use. Because B2B, not necessarily that every social media platform will be there. I do recommend, for example, to have a website, at least a one pager, or if not, to have a landing page so people can know who you are, what's your business all about. Yes, to use Facebook, for example, for the business page, not necessarily to promote your business, because Facebook pages, the business pages are not getting much exposure, but for example, they are good for you that, they are your ID, they're your CV. Okay, people come to see you, to learn about you. That's how people look at it. If I'm searching up for a company and you don't have an online presence and a strong one, so I don't really want to work with you, right? No offense, but that's how it works. If I'm coming and you don't have a website, you don't have a Facebook page, it looks like a scam. If you have a page that you're not really updating, okay, and last time you updated it was like a few months ago or like a month ago, so it means that you're not really active there. It means that you're not necessarily, out there, and who say you're really still working. And people check for this, and everyone got a different mind, way of thinking, of interpreting this. So this is why I always try to teach, there's more to do than just online. Like the online presence is super important, but there's so many other marketing activities, like those email campaigns, different promotions that you can do, different collaborations that you can do, even different mailers and stuff like this that you can do. There's so many things for the brand, but it's, again, depend on the brand itself. Everyone have a different things that they can do, play with it. And there's so many things to do. Networking is part of how you market yourself. This is one of the most amazing tools for you to use. And yeah, so there's so many. So like I can give an example for like how you do marketing in a different way. When I was supposed to present my, for the entire team, okay, for the entire division, our marketing and strategy plan. I need to present it to a lady from the US. So instead of me putting her in a room and giving the presentation as a marketing tool, we took her to Jerusalem. The tour guide went into different places, and every place he stopped to explain what we are seeing now, I've linked it to the plan. Okay, so this is the biggest project back then. We're going to have this as the biggest project. This is the amount of gates. This is our client. So that I linked it. So there's so many different creative ways for you to do different stuff. Not everything you need to do like what we used to, like in the lister, like, you know, an email list, digital marketing. It's a mix of stuff, and you just need to be a bit more creative. And yeah, so there's a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Anybody else got a question for Dana?
You can ask even directly on your business, if that's okay for me saying. So if you want to give an example, I'll try to help. It's your time, so.
Hi, Dana. Shania, perhaps more a bit of a comment as well as a question is, I find that it's very important to continue learning as part of your journey and part of your brand development. Sorry, I got in a bit late, so maybe I missed that part of it. But I think it's a really integral part of building a brand, particularly if it's a personal brand, is to keep learning, to keep listening to people, to keep learning from people, to keep reading, to keep just kind of updating yourself, and not only yourself personally, but also what it is you're doing out there in the market. So, you know, what do you recommend in that kind of learning space as you know, good potential learning sources?
I can say that, you know, I'm a marketing person. And I really, if I look at my journey, if I would not keep myself up to date, I could not do marketing. Because really, when I've done my degrees, social media, when I've done my BA, social media was not even there. I remember that I actually done a job on like online dating, which was very new back then. And my friends volunteered me for the assignment. So I literally signed up to some online dating because now it was to learn. And then when I started my MBA, Facebook just started during that time. So I wasn't even studying it. Now, working even on global companies, you learn social media, but it's not the same thing when you have a strong brand behind you versus now you are the brand and you need to learn it. So I literally took the time to learn. And what I always do to learn is that I watch different YouTube channels. I go to I don't believe in competition in the small business industry, because we all brands and we all have a different story. And you can either feel the connection or not, and it doesn't matter. So there's space for everyone. But I'll go to listen to someone else in my industry. I'll sign up to the webinars, and I'm going to listen. And I'm seeing what they're offering, how they're selling themselves, what they're doing, what's their pricing. I'm also connected to the Israeli community because this is part of my clients as well. And over there, I've got different supporting groups that shares like tips and hacks and stuff on Instagram and like TikToks and everything. So I'm part of this different networking groups that I keep on studying and learning. And that's why, for example, Courtney is on my WhatsApp group thing. That is something that after me trialing this in Israel and knowing how it works, I brought it to South Africa from my side. So if I'm not going to keep on studying, and it's in everyone in their business, doesn't matter what's your industry, right? You need to learn new techniques, new trends that are. So it's always to be alert and online and see what others are doing. It's not going to take you much long, like if you're going to do even once a week, to look at people that come from the same industry, check them out. Even a tip, I always say to clients of mine that want to work with organizations, do research. I also do it. Before I used to go to, I not only did marketing, I also helped with the sales and capability. So before I used to go, I'll look at their website and I'll understand what's their main projects, what's the different wordings that they use. Okay. And when I go to the meeting, I use the same wording as them because I can't prepare it. I speak the same language. They don't even get it, but I automatically feel a connection because I speak the same as them. So there's a lot of different things. So there's a lot of research you can do. You can also learn a lot, by the way, of your customers' behaviors or your followers' behavior if they're aligned with your target market by looking at the insights. Okay. And you've got insights on YouTube, on LinkedIn. on Instagram, so you're learning out of it, and you're always learning, and you're looking at other stuff. So there's so many tools today. So, but it's very important. I think if you're not going to learn like you said, you're not going to grow your brand for the long run. It's not going to sustain for the longer run. So I hope I answered.
Certainly, thank you. One other question that I had, and I think this is one of these eternal kind of questions for some of us that probably aren't in your field specifically. So I'm in sales, and I work for a rather large organization, and I constantly kind of get confused between, or I think the company gets confused between branding and marketing. Branding being the actual brand, the name of the company and what it stands for, and marketing as in marketing the products that it sells. Because I think that those are two quite different things, and I think that they need to be addressed differently, but with a view to the same message. I mean, obviously they are closely tied together. Your products are a reflection of your brand, and your brand are a reflection of your products. But I still think that there are different activities that need to be followed for each of those, what you're trying to achieve there. So during a marketing cycle, you probably want to spend some time on pure branding. This is our company, this is, and then you want to do some marketing stuff on products, this is what we sell and such. Do you agree with that, or does that resonate, or am I on the wrong track?
No, you are in the kind of right direction. So for me, and branding is the bigger picture, okay? This is like the big umbrella, you know? This is who you are, your story, everything, all the values, everything is inside of that. Marketing, it's coming out of the branding, okay? Marketing is more of the tactics, the activities that you're gonna do to promote your brand. That's marketing. So you use it to promote your brand, to put your brand out there, to create brand awareness, from that to bring sales. Because sales and marketing is pretty much the same. It's just different tactics. It's different point of views on how you do it. But if you don't know how to market yourself, it's to sell yourself, okay? You can say in different ways, but branding is the big picture. It's all the values, everything that's around it. And it's the design, for example, is the packaging of the branding. It's not the branding, it's the packaging. Everything you do out there, your marketing is part of the packaging, but it's a more active packaging. It's the activities that you do.
Yeah, yes, I get that, because I think part of the challenge is that as salespeople, you kind of feel that you can't be the only face of the company. The company needs to put itself out there as a brand and do some form of branding to allow you to then not have to start with the, oh, this is who I work for and this is what they do discussion, but rather, oh, this is why you need me here type discussion. And that's, I think that's where that kind of quandary comes from, is some companies, I think, tend to fixate on the marketing product side of things and not really realize that they've got a big part to play in branding to the public, to the market, you know, and just not think that a name makes things happen automatically.
And you're very right, by the way, because I think that's the difference with companies that will succeed for the long run, for those or not, because you cannot count everything on the salesperson. Okay, your job is important, but the reason why the big companies are working well is because, you know, they are preparing the ground for the salesperson. So when you come, your pitch is easier because people are resonating. They know what you're talking about. You know, you just need to sell them a certain product or a certain service, but they already know the story in their mind. Because one of the brands that I was, for example, promoting was Kleenex. Okay, so it's easy when you know that Kleenex, and everyone build it, and you can see it in commercials. You watch TV, American series and movies, they don't say, hand me the tissue, they say, hand me the Kleenex. You know, it's a strong brand. So when you have something like this and then you now need to go and sell it, it's a bit easier. Yeah, it can go on pricing debates, it can go in different directions. But the way to build a proper brand and a company that, you know, can actually grow, it's not to count on one department. It's not only counting on marketing. It's not only counting on sales. It's to have them both together, both working in line. And I was a big believer in that. That's why I've done the marketing in a different way. That's how one of the reasons I got to South Africa, because I was going as a marketing person with the sales team because I wanted to listen. I wanted to listen and understand where things are coming from. I wanted to merge between the two of them. And that's how you work. So you need to balance between this and this. And that's my belief, that they're both going to line. And it's just going to make each other's life easier. Because if you're doing as a salesperson an amazing job, it's going to help me with my marketing, because people can, oh, I know it, I've seen it, like, you know, it's all linked. So it's like win-win for both sides.
It certainly is, and it's interesting to hear that marketing people can also listen occasionally.
That's why I said I'm not a very common marketing person, and I must admit, because most of the marketing person go with the nose like this, right? And they think that the sun comes out, you know, from where. So I won't say that loud, but it is because they think they know the best. I'm aware about this, but my luck that I also did trade marketing. And I've done consumer and B2B, so that's why I have a different point of view. And that's why I was a big believer. I was doing also capability. I was doing trainings to our distributor sellers, because that's how I believe. And that's why I'm a big believer in building your relationship, building your community, learning about them. You know, if you learn about your target market, it's going to make it easier to you to understand them. So it's going to be easier to you to even get the message out there, because you know where to touch. If I'm going to know where your pain points and I'm going to touch it, you automatically will want to come and speak with me and learn more and more. But if I won't do it, you're going to say, okay, you're one out of many.
Yeah, certainly. I had another thought, but it's just gone.
Okay, cool. Okay, guys, we're running out of time. So are there any final questions for Dana?
And as I said, if someone is feeling shy to ask here or something, feel free to message me on a private note. Like, really, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Cool. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up.
Richard, may I just comment on something?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Dana, I am pretty sure that your smile takes you a long way.
Yes. Thank you. That's why, by the way, if you look at my website, one of my saying is that a smile is the shortest line that connects between two people. And I have this saying for more than 15 years. So I'm sticking with it. And I believe in this. So, you know, that's why I say, learn who you are. You know, I know that this is part of me. Yes, because everyone commenting. I have a friend that called me the Colgate smile. So, you know, that's part of me, and learn what's part of you that other people are noticing. And I'll give you, you know what, I'll give you 2 exercises to do before we're done. One, write down, like I have this saying that describe myself. Try to find one saying that describes you. If you can sum it all up to one saying, your message is going to be much clearer when you work with your clients. So that's one exercise. The second one, and you're more than welcome to share after. The second one, ask your friends and colleagues or partners which brand they think you are, okay? And ask them. And the nice thing about this, that you will see how people actually perceive brands, okay, how they look at it. And on the other side, you're gonna learn about yourself. And I give it an example. Some of my friends gave me Coca-Cola because it's very bubbly, it's very mainstream, got lots of energy, and on and on and on. And it was the nice thing that 2 friends gave me this, but they both look at it from different angles, which was the funny part. They had some stuff in common, but they also saw stuff that like the others haven't. And then, so that's one way to look at and how people look at this. And the other way is that you will learn what other people think about you. Are they thinking the same as you think about yourself? Yes. If you are happy with what you think about yourself and they think the same, amazing. If not, you want to change it. If they think that you are amazing and you think like you're, so you are actually presenting something good. So learn to work on yourself, to love yourself. If you think that you are, what do you mean? I'm so awesome. But then think like, yo, dude, you're far from reality. Connect yourself, connect the dots. Then you see, okay, there's another gap. Okay, what am I need to fix? And that's a nice thing. So I want you to do this to exercise. You're more than welcome to share. It's just fun and help you to, you know, learn about branding and about yourself.
Cool. Thanks for that, Dana. Okay, then just to wrap up, I record these sessions. I'll be posting on YouTube a little bit later on. Dana, if you are okay with it, I will share your contact details with everybody
Yes.
on the email that I sent out a little later on this afternoon to everyone. And then they
And
can
I don't
contact you
mind also if
directly.
someone wants my service, and if it comes from the group, I'll give you a special price for this specific group.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, guys. Next week, we haven't confirmed our speaker yet, and I know it is a long weekend, so we haven't decided whether we're going to skip a week or not. But I will, once I've confirmed with the speaker or not, I'll let you guys know by the latest Monday what's happening on Friday. But until then, I believe tomorrow is a nice sunny day, so let's enjoy our springtime. And I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. So then that's all from us then, guys. Thanks. Cheers. Goodbye.